Hey YouTube, what's up? This is Arvind here, and today we have another video, and this time I'm just going to talk about a little bit of my camera gear that I've been decided to travel with about for the upcoming projects. But this is not the exact video, so I'll be doing another video about that too, but still this is the video about the Olympus camera. So I'm not gonna do a review right now. The review is on the making, but I'm just doing a video about the thoughts about this camera as a time-lapse photographer, not a photographer, a time-lapse photographer. So okay, so let's start with that. I'm pretty much excited. So the camera itself, the Olympus OMD EM5 Mark II. Actually, this is the Mark II version, which I purchased with the kit, the 14 to 150, which is a great choice when you are shooting with. So I just decided to buy because this lens is particularly has the weather sealing in it, so it just works fine. And I also bought another piece of lens. This lens is the 45 f1.8. So pretty much this is what sums up my kit, and 2 batteries, pretty much enough for me to shoot a whole day, and I can charge it easily. It also has a portable charging. I don't have to worry about it. So talking about this as a time-lapse camera, I actually use 2 kind of camera setups. So one is the Sony, which is currently filming the video right now, and the other one is the Olympus. I have tested both these cameras in for the time-lapse videos, and I'm pretty much impressed with this camera more than the Sony. The reason is that, Sony, you have to upgrade yourself. It has a time-lapse application which you have to purchase from the Sony Play Memory store for about $10. So $10 is not a big deal, but even still, if you want to do it, you need that application. But in this, you have an inbuilt intervalometer in here in the menu systems, so it is really great. You don't have to worry about it. And the next thing, even the application itself, when you're shooting, and you can't change your aperture, shutter speeds or ISO when the time lapse is going on. So that said, once you set your aperture, shutter speeds and ISO, and once you press the start button, and it just starts to record the time lapse. Once it starts to record, all the features has been locked. You cannot use it. And in this thing, even pretty much the once you start to record, you can't just change your things. But what it has is, it can shoot time lapse in the aperture priority. Even Sony can shoot it, but the thing is that even in the time-lapse application, and the Sony has the application, you can just turn your dial to the aperture priority and you start shooting with it. Pretty much once the shutter speed is corresponding to your aperture, aperture priority, you set your aperture, the camera sets the shutter speed automatically, which is equivalent to the aperture, so it doesn't matter. But say example, you are shooting at f8 and the shutter speed is like 1/30, and you're just shooting from evening to night. But the worst part is that once the shutter speed is in 1/30, it's gonna last long till you finish the time lapse. Even it gets dark, it's gonna dark, it's not gonna change. And in this camera, you set your aperture priority and you just start to shoot. You don't have to worry about anything. Just set your relevant aperture and let the magic do it. This guy is a beast in that priority. I just really loved it, and I can assure you there is no single flickering happen. I have done like 10-20 time lapses from evening to night, or early morning to afternoon. I have done the transformations. The only thing, it takes plenty of batteries, so it doesn't matter. But I couldn't find a single flickering, and you don't even have to process that to deflicker things. So that's what I really love about this thing, and I'm just pretty much close to this much to decide whether to sell my Sony equipment and just completely move to the Olympus. I just don't know. This camera just do those things is pretty much really good. You know, I'll just put up my recent time-lapse project that I did, and I get a lot of questions about that, and I get a lot of projects depend on that time-lapse video. Some people say that video was good, could you do a time-lapse video to my business, which I can make an advertisement of. I was really happy and I did it, but after that, those time lapses was not shot in this camera or not in that camera, because it was shot really in my DSLRs and way back. Now I just sold all my DSLRs, my Nikon DSLRs, and completely moved to mirrorless systems. First I bought the Sony. I was really impressed with it. For the stills and video quality, Sony was excellent. I'm not gonna blame on that. But for time lapses, particularly for my kind of work, Sony doesn't suit me really well. You can just even buy a $50 or $30 intervalometer, which can just help you to shoot time-lapse videos with those day to night transformation, with all the which is called the bulb ramping time-lapse. From morning to night, the time changes, even the scenes change in the video. So that's what we do. And even I use that intervalometer, a external intervalometer. I had two drawbacks. One, the battery, which just drains too quick. The battery in the camera drains too quick, as well as the battery in the intervalometer drains too quick. But even still, I get a 50% of flickering, which I can even deflicker in my post-productions using the LR time-lapse and the Lightroom. So it doesn't matter. But still, and the weather resistant stuff is what kind of thing, when you're shooting out in the nature, you never know what's gonna happen next. It can be pretty much bright in the day, and within a fraction of seconds it just can get rain, and I have experienced those kind of things, and I also had that things while I'm doing my first vlog. I'll just also put a description or annotation here anywhere. So the reason I'm just deciding is completely for that one single reason that I told you: aperture priority. When you're shooting time-lapse in aperture priority in this particular camera, it just shoots pretty smooth. You never need to do any deflickering. You never need to do a lot of stabilization works. That's the next thing that I'm going to talk about. It has a 5-axis stabilization. So once I'm placing my camera on a tripod, even the wind is pretty much heavy. I have experienced it even at 150 millimeters. The camera is completely zoomed out like this with the lens hood. It's pretty much big, but the thing is, it just has the stabilization pretty much great. I just really love that kind of things. It just makes my workflow really easy. It's not about some people say that, oh, you're really lazy, so that you just wanted to get everything done in the camera. But the thing is that it just makes my work really easy, so that I can concentrate on a lot of projects. So I don't even have to sit about 4 to 5 hours in a computer editing all my footages, deflickering it, stabilizing it. It just takes a lot of time. I have experiences with my Nikon DSLRs when I'm doing hyperlapses. Hyperlapses is kind of a different thing, but for time lapses, I don't want that kind of shaky thing, and Olympus does a great job. And recently, Olympus also has introduced the EM1 Mark II, which I'm pretty much interested. That's why I said I was just this much close where I will whether I'm just this much close to make the decision whether to sell all my Sony gear and completely move to Olympus, or just to keep that and trade off with the with other systems. I was just this much close, but I'll be making the decision so soon. And so pretty much that's it, guys. So this is the video. You know, I just had to talk about the camera. You know, it's been 1 year I've been using this, and I was just really loving this camera, each and every single bit. I just don't have to worry about anything. You know, whenever I decided to do time-lapse videos, the first camera that I go with is this guy. You know, I will just say it anywhere, everywhere, or anytime, it doesn't matter. The only thing is that. And also about the size, talking about the size, the tripod. So you don't need a bigger tripod to make a stabilized video or a time-lapse video. This guy can do it. A Jabi Gorilla Pod, and the ball head, which I just replaced from my tripod, actually suits really well, and it just feels really sturdy. And that's it. Sometimes I use this slider. Actually, this slider is a slider from a company called Pro Aim Vigo, which is a third-party slider, which is really equivalent to the sliders like Edelkrone Slider Plus. So that's what I've been looking on. So what I do is I just mount this in here, and I can even do slider kind of a time lapse with this thing. What I do is I just manually move my slider every each and take a picture, and I could do a time lapse. So I'll just, like the time lapse that you are seeing right now. So pretty much it's about what you have and what you use in your perspection. So you don't need a motorized slider, and pretty much I don't use any motion control devices to do time-lapse video. So pretty much that's it, guys. Thank you for this video. Thank you for watching, and so pretty much everything. Thank you.